you want to, guy. There's nothing stopping you from making us go live.
What's up, everybody? And today we're going to give. Now, I want to keep this in mind. I saw Andor last night, and it was so hard when I got to the end. And right after I watched Andor season 2, I went right into Rogue One. And this makes that
seamless
movie so much fucking better because you hear in the movie the shit he did in this show. Like, I was rewatching it again. I go, oh my God, they referenced that in the show. Like, there's a scene in the movie where he goes, this place is a powder keg that's about to explode. And yeah, he would know a riot because in this one, he went through the Gorgon Rebellion. Or Gorgon was the name?
Gorman.
There we go. Gorman. They sounded French, though, and you know my opinion on the French anyways. But this was amazing. I don't make this call very often, but I did this with the Penguin, and I'm going to do this because I feel like we're in the same situation. This might be number one of my list. I didn't think it'd be Star Wars ever again.
Nobody thought it would be Star Wars.
But I'm gonna tell you, this right now for me is number one. And I watched Reacher, and I was like, okay, Reacher's got to be number one because I'm not seeing anything that's gonna catch my fancy.
Reacher was real fucking good.
And Reacher was real fucking good. But I gotta say, this was better because it was deeper. Unlike Reacher, like this had a lot of layers.
Dude, there's so much onion in this show. It's all onion.
Dude, those last episodes felt like that those fucks wanted to gut you from beginning to from like episode 7 until the fucking end.
Okay, now
it's just like, oh,
what can I make one point of contention before we gush over this show?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I know everyone knows that the de-aging technology is very good at this point in time. Like, you saw Indiana Jones 5, right?
Oh, we unfortunately a lot of us saw that abomination.
But like his body doesn't move faster, but he looks younger, right?
Yep.
And it doesn't look funky or nothing like that. So they have the ability to do that. Where the fuck is Jimmy Smits?
That was my point of contention too.
Like the only person I was expecting to not necessarily be recast is Jimmy Smits. And then I was like, I like the actor that they recast him in. So it's like nothing against him at all. He's very good.
I think he keeps the same.
Like, come on. What's up, Fanta?
Fanta, what's up? So, I think the best way to review this, let's break this into sections because I know me and you are going to want to spend a lot of time at the ending. So let me just get the first because the first 3 episodes scared me. They tricked me. I thought like the acting and shit was still good. But those first 3 episodes were not very good. I'm just going to say
I mean,
that first arc
comparatively speaking.
Yeah. It fell out of place except for...
No, to be fair, let's look at all of the Star Wars here. Like, the first 3 episodes of Andor is still better than 90% of everything else that they've made since Disney bought it.
Yeah, so we're not talking about like Acolyte bad. We're talking about like this.
Oh, I was gonna say Kenobi bad.
I mean, well, fuck, Kenobi's there, but I would still watch Kenobi over.
I mean,
Acolyte.
okay,
Acolyte
let's put it this way:
terrible.
the first 3 episodes are like the Book of Boba Fett, right? And then the last 9 episodes is like episode 6 of Boba Fett.
Yes, which was just The Mandalorian. If you guys,
it's amazing. That's one of the best.
It was basically The Mandalorian episode 1.
I know, it was great.
But let's get into so the first episode. There's only one scene of note I want to mention because it was all over the internet.
Did you watch Andor?
If you didn't, go watch it on Disney Plus. But anyways, the one scene that everyone seemed to talk about a lot, and it was the almost grape scene. I call it almost because nothing happened to her. But did you see that on the internet? Star Wars fans lost their goddamn mind, and it's like, look, this is war.
I can't
And this
believe
shit
they said the
happens.
word rape in Star Wars.
What?
That's all I can say.
George would never, dude. Do you watch the old Star Wars? George had two brother and a sister kiss before he made them brother and sister. So just think about that shit. Incest is canon in Star Wars. So I mean, don't go out and get off your fucking high horse.
Not to mention, Luke is like, she's pretty fucking hot, and then it's like, she's your sister, and it's like, well, I already had the thoughts.
I believe this is Bitchy on her alternate. I caught you, Bitchy, but I love you anyway. It says, no Star Wars is all butterflies and daisies. How dare they? It's like, yeah.
Oh, Star they dared.
Wars. And I hate this other thing, too, that I've been hearing a lot. Well, Andor isn't really Star Wars. There's stars.
What?
There's a war. And there's blasters and shit. Now, they even added a Jedi. Granted, not a Jedi with a lightsaber, but a Force healer. So we have that. I mean, too. They're Jedi.
She must be related to Chirrut. I can never pronounce his name right. The blind guy.
Oh yeah. I am one with the Force. The Force is one with me. I am one with the Force. The Force is one with me. I love that guy.
Right.
But yeah. So the first 3 episodes, they were a little bit scary. I was thinking, oh shit, but now we get into this middle half, and here's where shit gets interesting.
Oh, she picks up.
So the middle arc. First, let's go on our thoughts. What did you think about the middle arc, and then we'll talk about some parts in it.
I mean, technically, I guess the 2 middle arcs kind of go together better, but I would say more the second arc is like getting everything into position.
That's what I was thinking.
Because I'm not gonna lie, like there's not a whole lot of
action,
overt action in any of those episodes, but you're constantly like, oh.
This reminded me. Remember the good old days of Game of Thrones, the political intrigue, right? And I said this: you could have political and words, like Quentin Tarantino's good with this, where he builds suspense with words, just long dialogues, and you're fucking waiting for that gruesome scene, but the conversation is just as intense. And this second arc was where I started to see, this is the end game. Like, we are building to where Cassian will be in the movie, and they said this was originally supposed to be 4 seasons. I'm amazed they pulled it off so fucking seamless. Like, if you told me he just had 2 seasons in mind, I would have believed you, because the way he pulled off just bringing everything full circle, and there were so many threads left over, and he did what a good director did. He did the important ones, and this literally feels like it's all leading to Rogue One. We get the Yavin base set up. We got the Goran.
No, I did like the episode. I mean, I like how the season started, where he crashes the freaking ship and then he shoots his way out. Like, that was spectacular. That was a hell of a way to get your attention. But then you're like sitting in the woods for a whole episode, and it's like, what in the actual fuck is going on right now? And then he takes off, and you're like, oh shit!
Yeah,
I know this place.
Yeah, and then you realize where it was, and it was like things like that where I was like, okay, I need to be patient, because this show by nature is like, some people, it's one of these weird shows where either people will fucking die on the hill like us. There's a lot of Andor defenders who fucking love this show, and then Starch haters who are like, this isn't Star Wars. I didn't see lightsabers, so this isn't Star Wars. And it's like, Star Wars is not just lightsabers. There's all sorts of shit going on in the galaxy. You got your smugglers and your bounty hunters and, politics. And the Emperor does have a lightsaber, but you also
they did the politics so well.
Oh yes, and so the politics. Dietra and who's that one guy? The fucking
Cyril.
Cyril, there we go. Dietra and Cyril.
I mean, come on. Oh, hold on a second, guy. Like, it's easy to remember Cyril, especially when you described him as the weird guy. He's just like Cyril in Archer.
Yes.
Super Sapphire!
Especially like when he loses his shit. That's actually a scary good. I wish I thought. Fuck yeah, that was so true.
Man, that was so good.
But this made me. The first season kind of made Cyril weird, like they didn't know where they were going with him. But this season, by the time we get to the end of this arc, I actually fucking felt really bad for him because it's like you see them.
Was he a good guy or was he a bad guy?
I think, and I'm just gonna say it, I think he wasn't a bad or a good guy. And I'm using this from the first season. I don't think bad and good. Like, I think he had a moral compass, but I think his idea of his role is he was enforcing rules so nobody would step under bound. And then by doing these things, he was helping the Empire be better by forcing the rules established, but didn't realize there were no rules. You're on the evil side. Like, he built this construct that he was keeping people in line and that they were following some kind of decorum. And I think when he saw the riot, it broke him because he realized, like, fuck, I am on the wrong side. Like, he
right, like, you staged a riot.
Yeah. And yes, he was used. He was clearly manipulated the whole time.
I don't know if there is a single person in this show that isn't used. Unless we're talking unless we're talking about like the legacy characters like Mon Mothma and Bail Organa, and I guess we get to see Admiral Akbar at the end there. Like he shows up. I don't know anybody else sitting around that freaking table though, but whatever. I was like, okay.
I do. Once I watched Rogue One, I go, "Oh, you're that bitch who's gonna interrupt Andor." It's all that one black chick. I looked at, I was like, "Oh, this bitch is gonna fuck her." When I rewatched Andor, I was like, or Rogue One, I was like, "Oh, there's that bitch. Fuck you!" Like it was so crazy. Like when you didn't see them when Jen Erso. This also makes Erso's character better for me. That was my big issue in Rogue One was Jan Erso. I was like, who the fuck is she to talk about these people? But now that I go back and I watch this,
dude,
and then you see everything ties into their family.
This makes everything that comes after it better.
And that's what we should do.
As far as the original story is concerned. Like, I'm not saying that Andor makes 7, 8, and 9 better, because it doesn't. But it does definitely make Rogue One better. And Rogue One in itself made episode 4 better, at least for me. So there you've stacked it up already. And then like 4 leads into 5, 5 leads into 6. Yeah, so if you're telling me that this show hasn't made the original trilogy better, I don't know what the hell we're watching.
Yeah, because it also fixes a problem that was in those movies for damn near 2 decades, which was how the fuck did nobody notice that shaft? That big fucking ventilation shaft where you could get 2 fucking missiles in there and blow up the whole entire thing. And now we have the explanation. Her father built in the design flaw on purpose as his last fuck you to the Empire.
Yep.
And it makes sense in the context of the story. So yeah, let's talk about the 2 biggest episodes of this second arc, and probably my favorite of this season, the Gorn riot. And
the riot. Oh my god, the riot. Have you ever I've never gotten that feeling from watching anything that was Star Wars before.
I was so on the edge of my seat where you're just
I'm sitting there and I was like, go ahead.
You're when everything drops and like the way they bring in stuff slowly, like you start to see the stormtroopers come by the steps. They're letting certain people in. You start to see the people in the crowd like taking out lasers and bombs and shit. And then they keep on cutting to the guy who's in the sniper post, my first thought was he was going to snipe someone randomly in the crowd to get things started.
Right. I totally thought he was going to shoot a civilian, not shoot one of his own people. Totally.
And the new guy who was terrified, remember? I laughed because I rewatched it again to get ready for this review. That was the guy who was protesting saying, "But sir, our troops are green." That dude was the dude who was the first one to get shot. The fucking irony in that scene. I was like,
it was freaking spectacular. I mean, I'm sitting there on the edge of my seat. Obviously, I know Cassian's going to make it out, which I don't know if I've ever watched another show ever where you know for a fact, because it's a prequel story, that the character is going to make it. Like, they're obviously going to get out of this situation, and I've never been more intrigued of how. Never.
Yeah. And the other thing that I want to say, my favorite speech, man, it's so hard to pick because this season does it so well, because I'll get to the last episodes and I got a couple faves there, but one of my favorite moments has to be when Cyril has that realization that his relationship is a lie, and he grabs Deetra.
Where is she?
Dude, he grabs Deetra when he grabs her by the throat and says, "I will throw you out that window." And he says it so calmly. I was actually like, bro, he's a fucking psychopath. Like,
he was good. He was real good.
Because I never brought him as intimidating. But in that moment, you realize that this guy, all the shit
he was never, ever here to fuck around.
No, and I thought it was so good. And I loved that line where he was like, he goes, "Good luck to you," or whatever. Now, how did you feel about his death? Because I think it fits, but I'm also kind of sad about it.
Perfectly.
I thought
that was one of the things where I'm sitting there watching the episode, and I was like, okay, who is going to make it out of this riot? Because there's no way that all of the characters that we've been following are going to make it out, and we're just going to kill off people like randomly, like random civilians, random stormtroopers, and we don't care about any of them, and then all of the people make it out. I was like, that is definitely not happening in this scene, but who is it actually going to be? Because it could have, I mean, how many times I feel like Cassian could have taken a couple shots with his freaking sniper.
Yep. Yeah, I feel like the other thing I was waiting for too, because even the Resistance characters, I was like, any of that, I was kind of liking them. So I was like, oh, if any of them goes, that would be big too. And we did lose 2 of them, but and almost fucking all of them. But the biggest one when that happened with him, first off, let's talk about the fight between Andor and Cyril. It's probably one of the best. I'm gonna say this, and I put this against lightsaber duels.
I thought he was gonna.
I'm not bullshitting. I think this is the best choreographed fight I've ever seen in Star Wars.
I thought he was going to smash his, like he smashes him into the ground, and I was like, wait a second, he's meant to be in a movie, like,
dude, this was the dirtiest.
Like you have just a moment of confusion where you're like, is he not in Rogue One? Is he going to die right now? You're like, no, he's definitely in the movie. And the movie, he's got to survive. And I was like, he's gonna fucking die. And then, I don't remember the old man's name, but I don't think there could have been a better character to end up ending the fight.
Not only that, I like the realization too. Remember, he had been chasing Andor since fucking season 1, but being that he never got the credit, Deidre did. They were looking for her, but he was the real guy following Andor this whole fucking time. So, and I love the title of the episode is the exact thing he says, where he's like,
they do it in every episode. They do it in every episode this season. Somebody says the name of the episode,
but it makes so much sense. They just don't do it as a gimmick.
Yeah, the only one I think that didn't make sense is when what is it, episode 10 is the flashback episode.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when Luthen's doing his flashbacks and he's like, make it stop. I was like, that one was kind of lame, guy.
Yeah, that was a little.
But
well, you were
going back to the choreographed fight, if we're talking about Disney Star Wars, because it's real tough to compare any of the fights to the fights in the prequels.
I'm gonna do it.
If we're talking about like the actual fight aspect, because obviously the original trilogy, the fights aren't as flashy, but they have much more emotional weight. I said it.
You son of a Campia somewhere is thumbs upping this video.
If we're talking about stuff that Disney made, at minimum, it's in the top 3, because the other 2 that I would put with it is Ahsoka versus Darth Maul in season 7 of the Clone Wars, because that was
animation.
It's like faux animation, guy. The whole lightsaber duel is real. The lightsaber duel is real.
You're right. They
happened. Right. They mocapped
give it to you. You're right.
Right. So like the lightsaber fight is real in that sense, and that's why it feels better than any of the lightsaber fights that you get in any previous season or in any of the seasons of Rebels. And then the other one that I would put with it is oh gosh, now I'm having a freaking mind fart. Vader versus oh gosh, who was the black chick from the Acolyte?
Oh, uninteresting, generic. We'll never see her again. Character,
right? But the lightsaber duel between those two, that was good. The only thing that's upsetting is that once again, something cool happens and then something stupid happens.
Now, see, I'll give you the Clone Wars one, but honestly, I would say this was even better than that fight in Obi-Wan Kenobi, because it was so real. This fight felt like a fight you could see in real life with the way they were fighting each other. Because there were
like people taking big swings.
Yeah, the big hooks. Like it felt like they choreographed
a fight like a UFC fight.
See. Yeah, it looked like a street brawl, really.
Big time.
And that for me, and for what this show is, and you have to remember, 3 arcs, there's always one episode that has an action payoff, and this is ours for this last section of 2, and it just felt so fucking like, wow, that was worth the wait and the buildup. But then let's get to his death. His death was sad. R.I.P. Hashtag justice for Cyril.
R.I.P. Cyril? What?
Hashtag justice for Cyril.
Dude, Cyril was incidentally evil.
Yeah, that's the sad part. Like, he really believed he was the good guy. And that makes it so much more tragic when his real view is broken. And he doesn't get that moment, because I think he could have joined the rebellion. Like, I was thinking he was teetering on that line when he said,
they made it seem like he had been flipped.
Yeah.
In the first arc.
So I'm like thinking to myself, maybe this is where he actually like says, hey, these guys don't have rules or anything, so I might as well jump over to these guys. But then he just never gets that moment. And there's something so fucking tragic about that. And it was like, oh man, that is fucking rough. And so we get to
I agree with you wholeheartedly. This entire story is tragic. Like because
you know where it's going too.
Season 1 had its like moments, like Andy Serkis going, I don't know how to swim. And it's like, what's
what?
The plan,
oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Man. Oh, man, I forgot.
You know we're in the middle of well, not the middle of the ocean, but we are nowhere close to land. It's not like you can just walk in the water. It's like
I would have been like, float. I would have put Andy Serkis on the fucking back. I'd be like, that's
everybody's story is tragic in this show. Every single fucking person's story is tragic, other than the legacy characters.
Yeah, my mother and
I mean, her story is sad.
Oh yeah, it's how she got there. So let's get to the
But
final
I
episode
don't know.
in this
I
arc.
wouldn't call hers tragic when you got people like Bix out there who goes, "I'll find you."
Oh, we'll get to that shit on the last
Oh
arc.
man,
Oh
that
man,
hurt.
that shit were no, that's
That's not what
okay.
hurt the
So
most. That's not what hurt the most, though.
let's talk about the final episode in this second arc, which is that moment. The big Senate escape first, and then we'll go to the big thing next, because then that leads us into the third arc. But so to end this arc, I thought after the Gorman massacre that shit was going to slow down, but oh no, now it's a race to save Mon Mothma. So they ratcheted it up in that episode, but then you get to this next one where you think you're going to get a break, and it's, to me, oh man, it's tough, but I'd say this was just as intense as the riot, especially after she makes her speech. And like the way they built up how paranoid she is, like she doesn't trust Lutheran because of what I thought he justifiably took that guy out, but you know, whatever. She was broken up about that, so she doesn't really trust Lutheran anymore, and she can't trust anyone in her cabinet because she finds that listening device. And this is an episode where honestly, she's a legacy character, but I thought she was gonna die. I had to remember, oh no, she's in like every Star Wars. She's obviously not gonna die. But I was like, oh, are they gonna do something where he's got to bust her out of prison or something? Because I was like, at the very least, they're gonna catch her. They're gonna catch her because she's doing stupid shit and she's not taking any advice from anybody. I don't know how you felt.
We're talking about the listening device.
Yeah, that final episode,
Stuck.
dude. Like when she said, "Hey, what's up?
Thriftygism?
Nice to
Nice
see
to
Dave
see
Filoni."
Dave Filoni review Gilroy's show here on YouTube.
Yeah, you're right. You know, he'll do a great job. I wish he would have put Ahsoka in there, but you know.
Dude, okay, so I was reading comments on my TV Time app about the show, and they were talking about, one guy said it hurt him that one of the better lines, or no, it hurt him that the Mon Mothma speech in the Senate was written by Dave Filoni. And I was like, I don't understand what you people don't like about Dave. I can tell you what I don't like about Dave: how he sounds when he talks. I would rather listen to RFK Jr. and everybody knows what he sounds like.
So, but yeah, I have to say, I didn't think the speech was as good as Lutheran's speech at the end of the first season, where he talks about how like,
come on, like
I'm sorry, that's the bar I put the big speeches on.
Let's not lie here. Like, Skarsgård is the best actor in the entire show.
Yeah, well, hands down. Hands down.
I mean, Diego
and we'll get
Luna
to that third arc.
Good. Diego Luna, was, oh man,
oh my god, like, dude, like
all of these shots of just emotion. There are so many shots in this show where obviously they always got the music playing in the background or whatever, and you just like, you stare at his face, or you see him walking, or you see him freaking whatever, and they do it with multiple characters the entire fucking season, and I don't know, I just thought that it was spectacular.
Oh, even so, even Dietra, one more thing I forgot to mention about episode 8 of the second arc. There's a lot to talk about in the second arc, I'm sorry, but like Dietra, that got me to tear up because I was already #justice for Cyril. But then, like, to see her hand trembling, because she's the one character in the whole show that keeps the same fucking expression all the time. It's either angry or really angry. But to see her break that character, and then you see her like physically holding tears back, ripping her collar off, her hand trembling, that was some of the best fucking act. When people go, "Oh, so women can't act in Star Wars."
I just watched everything together. What is said to her when she does that? Why can't I remember now?
Oh, it's like something to the effect of are you ready now or have you got it together now or something? It was something fucked up.
This is right before the riot, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where he's like, are you ready to give the order now? And she's just like fucking has to give
so
the go.
I didn't understand like who is actually in charge. Like when who was it, the captain or
Yeah, the
whoever the guy
captain
was with
guy,
the
it was the
ISB?
same. It was the same like when we thought like what's his name? Crank was the guy, but it was really
Tarkin?
uh Tarkin the whole time. Like there's always, and that's what I
mean,
loved about the
I
show.
don't.
There's always
I'm
somebody
still
who's
on the
above
fence.
them.
After watching Andor, I'm on the fence about that.
Because remember, he said, even though she was like the director who ran everything, that guy said, "You're just the trigger."
She's the trigger supervisor.
Yeah.
And he's the finger.
Yeah,
right?
he's the finger.
Or was it the other way around? Because now I can't remember.
No. He looked at her and he said, "You're the trigger. I'm the finger. Don't forget your place," or so to that effect. And that's when she had that look in her. That's when she had that fucking look at her eye, like this motherfucker. And then immediately after that, she has the whole fight with Cyril, and she's just having a tough day. But then immediately after that, when the shit goes down, when she's finally back in the plane and it's like moving, that's when she has that emotional breakdown. And then somebody comes in and goes, "Oh, they need your report," or it was something to that effect. And she straightens her thing out and she leaves. It was the best. And the mom too, watching the riot, knowing that Cyril probably died, like she just got that feeling and she starts crying when she sees the report. Even though
can we rewind a bit to the first 3 episodes for just a moment?
Okay.
And talk about the scene between Deidre and Cyril's mom.
Oh my God, yes. What great acting. What great acting. Look, anybody who says the show isn't well acted, you're fucking high.
They're all in the room and everybody's just like playing along. And then Cyril's like, "I need a fucking moment," and collapses on the bed. And she's like, "Hey, bitch, this is how it's going to be." And I was like, oh, shit. And at that very moment, I thought maybe, just maybe, she actually does have feelings for him.
I still think she does with that emotional breakdown she did. I think that
I think she had an emotional breakdown the exact same way that Cyril had the emotional breakdown when the riot started, knowing that what you are actually doing is tyrannical instead of, I don't know, security?
Yeah, because when you think about their characters, why they liked each other so much was the fact that they had these unshakable, like, this is the right thing. We don't give a fuck if you're Empire or not. We will prosecute you because this is how things are supposed to be.
They've been led to believe that what they are doing is meant to make the civilian population of the galaxy more safe and secure, when in reality, everything that everyone on the Imperial side did was exclusively to codify power.
Yeah. And that's the craziest part about especially what makes their story tragic. But speaking of tragic now, we're going to first to just cap off 9. So it ended with the Mod Mothma intense scene. We get her out of the Senate, all that. They get her back to Yavin. And the moment that
I had no idea that she had never like seen anyone die in front of her until Cassian killed those people.
And I like that too, because it's like, yeah, you've been sitting there like making these moves like you've seen shit, but you haven't seen shit. You don't know how ugly.
Well, I mean, she's seen some shit, but then she was also drunk dancing, so she doesn't remember seeing
it. Yeah, it's like,
so is this sorry to interrupt, is this whole like dancing thing like a Disney thing now, because I believe that they released an hour-long video of her dancing the exact, well, obviously not the exact same way, but in a similar fashion to when they released the hour-long video of Zemo dancing.
Oh man, I don't know. Maybe they were
Like,
like,
I
oh,
don't know if this is a thing now. Like, we need to get a little dancing scene into every series so that we can have a ridiculously long video of nothing.
and
Did you ever watch the hour-long video of Zemo dancing?
No. I
didn't make it the whole hour.
Yeah, I was good with the clip. I'm like, nah.
Well, that's because it's, I mean, as far as I remember, it's like they just put it in a loop.
Yeah.
Like, he dances for like a couple minutes, but then they just loop it for an hour. With the same thing with her, where she just dances for a couple minutes and then they loop it for an hour. And it's like, once you watched it through, like, you gotta be extra high to keep watching
that. So
they get her out of the Senate. It was very impressive. I did very much like the politicking that went into that, where Bail Organa's like, so that senator over there, and nobody objected to it, used the word emergency, so emergency 17-252. Now this bitch can talk. I was like, way to fucking go. And then I was reminded it's not Jimmy Smits.
And I love
it's killing
how they're trying to cut the feed, and then you got the two people who are like, he's at the door and he's like, he's like, are you gonna fix this? And they're like, yeah, we fixed it like a week ago. And he's like, ah! And like,
why won't this door open? We fixed the door. Why would you fix the door now? They're like, it was on the schedule to be fixed, and we like made it to that point in the schedule. He's just losing his fucking mind. The other people are like, I don't understand what the like. You don't want the door fixed. This is really what you're bitching about, something being in proper working order? Like, what is happening? That's what happens when you're doing tyrannical bullshit.
So I like that, because the episode is so heavy that's actually appropriate comedy, because it fits the scene, but it's funny. And the way that they play it, they don't do it like laugh right now. It's just like situational, where you've been there when someone actually does their job and you're not expecting them to, and you're like, motherfucker. So it was just hilarious, because I'm picturing this poor guy going, I'm gonna be killed. Or we could go the other end verse where he's like, it's finally my moment to shine.
Right? He's like, I'm getting that fucking promotion today. Gets to the door. Promotion gone.
Oh my God. So the speech goes out real wide. They cut it off. I loved the scene where they shot the limo driver, because they still made it ambiguous, because you didn't know if he was going to give her the ride or not. I would like to think he was on the fence about it.
I bet he wanted to give her a ride.
Okay. Jesus Christ. Can't bring this guy anywhere.
No.
So, and Andor just coldly shoots him. And now I watched Rogue One.
No. He did not coldly shoot him. He asked him for his name first.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And then he shot him. It was still fucking cold shit. But anyways.
It was awesome.
So we have after that they get out of the city. So the two,
you know who would have been proud? The Han that shot first.
Oh, and the big one too. Lutheran and Andor get into a fight, and this is when I knew he was doomed. I didn't know how, but where he was like, "I'm gonna stay here," and he goes, "Man, shit is going down. You got to get the fuck out." He's like, "Everybody's looking for the rebels now. You're like in the fucking center of it. Mom Oswa's shit is going to be huge." He's like, "You got to get out now." And he's like, "Remember what I said?" And I was like, "Yeah, the best fucking speech of the show." Where he was like, "I can light the fires of rebellion, but I'll never live to see the sun rise," or some shit like that. I was like, he goes, and he's like, they're gonna hang you, and he goes, guys like us hang eventually, and that
We all hang eventually.
and that got me because I'm like, bro, in the movie you're gonna go through the same fucking shit. That makes the movie so much more tragic, right? Okay, so, and I was thinking about this for a long time. You know what's fucked up? I'm kind of pissed off at the original trilogy now because
Oh shit!
We hear about Luke, Han, and Leia, right? And they get a little mention in the beginning because I rewatched The New Hope last night. They get a little mention. Oh yeah, these guys brought a message that we got to them, but Leia gets credit, and I'm like, that's fucked up because Andor was right. Him, Luther, all these people who built the rebellion, they don't get the credit at the end of the day. So that makes it also ultra realistic because it's like, holy shit, without these guys.
Okay, so now I'm confused. When does Bail Organa leave Yavin and go back to Alderaan in order to get blown up?
End of Rogue One.
Oh, he does leave?
Yeah. He goes, I gotta go because I just watched it the other night. And when I watched
I need to rewatch it. I was gonna rewatch it, but I was supposed to do a stream.
Oh, now it's gonna make so much more sense with that movie. You're gonna be like, oh, it's almost like it's almost like going into a season 3 of Andor. The movie Rogue One is like season 3 of Andor. Because they're like,
I do like the fact that since Andor has been such a smashing success, it seems like they have pivoted post-release that Cassian is the actual main character in Rogue One and not Jyn Erso. And I was like, come on. No one believes that. But they're pushing it. That's what Disney's pushing.
And you know what? Based on this show, I'd actually almost say that, yeah,
I would like
really
to say that, but I need to rewatch because I don't think that Cassian has like a substantial amount of screen time for him allegedly being the main character instead
actually,
of
rewatch it because when you rewatch the movie, then you're like, no, oh no, this is finishing up his story because it literally, when you see him again, it's meeting the guy he talks about meeting at the end of the show. It's literally that meeting that we meet him on. Now, when we first saw it, it didn't make sense. We were meeting this guy. Why was he shooting someone? We just thought they were being like ambiguous. But now that you see the show and you're like, oh, and that's when I was getting towards the end of the show. I go, oh, that's the opening scene where he's like, this guy won't talk to anybody but you. And then watch the movie because when he gets on the planet, the guy's nervous and shit going, why did it take you so long? What were you doing? And he's like, I had some business to finish up. I was like, oh, now it all comes together. Now it all fucking makes sense. Because you're like, yeah, he was fucking saving Luther's adopted daughter before he could meet you. So yeah, I was a little bit busy. And okay, so the two best parts. So we finally get to the planet. Sad scene, broke me. Bix leaves him. That whole fucking conversation and the way they shot everything. Dude. I don't get teary-eyed often. But goddamn, man, that was rough. That was a very, very rough scene to get through. What did you think?
Oh my god! Like it was right towards the end of the episode, so I had already marked the episode as watched, and I'm like reading through the comments, and I don't know, half, maybe a little less than half of the comments are essentially just going, no, you won't. Like, you are most definitely never finding him ever again.
Oh, man. And that makes everything, like, then...
Dude, the tragedy is so fucking real.
Dude, because then you think about Rogue One, it, like, everything they did in these last episodes, I felt like were designed to fucking rip out your fucking heart and show it to you. Because you're just like, no, she's never gonna fucking see him again. This man can't be happy for 5 fucking minutes.
They did do one thing in the final episode that did make me feel a little bit better, but it's still sad, but we'll get there.
We'll get there, yeah. So we got that, and more importantly, our favorite part, they wake up Kay. or KSO.
Oh, K2SO.
Yeah, K2SO. Voiced by again the great Alan Tudyk.
Oh my god, so good.
And he's still
Alpha.
so awesome. So now we get to this third batch, and holy shit, the first man, they just don't stop the gas from like episode 8 till the end. You're just on a fucking roller coaster.
Did you like the I want to say Luthen death scene, but that wouldn't be correct. Let's say the Luthen arrest scene.
I loved it. I absolutely positively thought it fit his character, and I figured it out when he pulled out the knife exactly which route he was going, just based upon the kind of man he is.
Oh, for a moment there, for just a moment, I was like, he's going to stab this bitch.
I thought this is 2 ways this could end. So in my mind, the first thought that came was he was going to stab himself. But then when he was talking to her, I go, oh, wait, is he going to stab her? Because I don't remember Dietrich being in the other ones. We'll get back to why not. And they tie it into season 1, which I thought was brilliant. But anyways, so I was like, is he going to stab her and then get shot, or like stab her and then like get shot trying to flee or something?
Right.
And then like the speech where he goes, there's only 2 fakes here. Like the way that they're like,
jury's still out.
Yeah, she's like,
oh, that was freaking hilarious.
Oh my god!
Amazing way to cut the tension in a tense scene, just to give you that moment of relaxation where you're like, oh, maybe shit isn't hitting the fan for the first time this season. No, it was. It just needed a moment.
Because then the box opens, she gets the transponder out, and then they break the facade, and I love the conversation where when he's like, you just don't like the he goes, the rebellion, or he's like, the rebellion isn't here anymore, it's flown out there, it's everywhere. He's going, you're gonna have everywhere. A lot to dislike, a lot to disdain, or some shit that she said earlier, and I was like, oh my god. But then
you want chaos. Fucking A, I do. If that's the other option.
I love and can I just highlight, we don't talk a lot about this, but we have been recently on the channel for some reason, because shows are getting it. We said in Daredevil, camera angles are fucking amazing, because you don't see what he did for an uncomfortable amount of time. When she's talking, the camera is on her face, when she's like, and then she says, don't move or you'll be stunned, blah, blah, blah. And then you see the shot, and you only get the tip of the knife with blood on it. And then slowly they pan it, and
he goes.
And then you just see him fall. And oh my god.
I need a med team.
Oh my god, dude. Oh, and then so Dietrich is fucking arrested by, I'm just gonna call him the other gay guy. Who we skipped the first scene. Luther killed that one guy.
Pretty interesting that like she's like, what do you mean I'm arrested? Like nothing about that makes sense. And he's like, no, you definitely are, and you're relieved of command. And she's like, okay, let's go sort this out.
Yeah, still she does not realize, and
then,
it's
I may have overspoke when I said Skarsgård is the best actor, because, not gonna lie, every single fucking scene with Krennic, beautiful.
Oh, so let's, oh my god, strongest
fucking Ben
Mendelsohn. I would even, because I was watching Rogue One, and I would even say this scene in Andor was way better than anything he had in Rogue One, just because
he's so menacing.
Yeah, he wasn't allowed to be menacing because you had Grand Moff Tarkin and the other people, Darth Vader, so it kind of undercut him. But in this moment, you get to actually see how much of a fucking prick this guy is. And Ben just fucking eats the scenes up. It, like, when he puts his finger on her head like a child, he's scolding a child. It is so fucking great.
Because, yeah, I was wondering when, like, Luthen has the conversation with Young on the frickin' bench and he tells him everything, I was like, how in the fuck were you not paying attention to this guy and looking at logs of when you were logged in? Like, nobody was paying attention to that at all? And then to know the 2 words Death Star from your scavenging? Oh, that was good.
And I love the fact
I had to scavenge, Krennic.
Oh, and he was just like, he wasn't having
like,
any.
I don't give a fuck.
He's like, dude, you have no clue. And we'll see in Rogue One, like, and that makes his scenes actually in Rogue One better because now you've set up this system.
Everything in this show makes that fucking movie better, and the movie was already great.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, I didn't think I could rewatch a movie and appreciate it so much more. On like this is my 4th viewing because I saw it twice in theaters. I really loved the Rogue One.
I've watched it at least half a dozen times, if not a dozen times already.
Yeah,
it came out in 2016, guy.
I'm pretty much where you're at, where I can't even put a number how many times I watched the movie, and maybe we'll do a rewatch together. We could do it on the
I'm not gonna lie. I don't think Diego Luna has aged in 8 years.
Fuck me, dude. If they use de-aging, that's a fucking great tech. But I have a feeling that's all.
If they use de-aging and they didn't get Jimmy Smits, it's like, how you got Ben Mendelsohn to be on the fucking show? Because I was not expecting Krennic to show up at all.
No, neither was I.
Like, he pops on the screen, I was like, oh fuck.
So that makes his character better too. And so we have her come back, and then this episode is split between memories of them starting because the assistant, what's her fucking name?
Clea.
So she became my favorite character by the end of this show. What a fucking great actress. The way her character...
I don't think my favorite character changed the entire series.
Who was your favorite?
My favorite character is B2 Emo.
Oh, I'll give you that one. Although I will get to 12, but I like what happened with him. He got the happiest fucking ending out of everybody.
No, you're wrong.
What? He got a little droid.
You want to talk about it right now?
Okay, we'll wait. So anyways, so we got this flashback between these two, and I love explaining her story. Now in the show, she was kind of annoying.
So in the flashback, like I'm pretty sure I saw all of it. And where did she come from? Like, she just appeared in the little cargo hold thing or whatever the hell that is.
I think she was hiding because he talked about it before in season 1 when he got disillusioned. It was a raid on a planet. So I think she just snuck into the ship to get away from the gunfire, and then he took her in after he fucking abandoned.
No, I mean, being that we're in a visual media, I would have liked to seen her sneak onto the ship, because that's the thing in my mind that almost makes it implausible. It's like, wait a second, there's this fucking war going on around where this ship is parked. Like, they're just murdering people north, south, east, and west, and a little bit of northeast. But that's not the point. The point is, she just appears in this little fucking, like, steel cupboard.
I mean,
I just want to know how she got there.
I mean, that's fair, but still, I wouldn't deduct it personally. Like,
but
I feel like
all of the interactions between them in the flashbacks, wherever they found this little girl, one, like, casting perfect, because that's exactly what I thought she would look like as a child. Like, wow, they just turned
even her mannerisms.
The de-aging is really working.
No, dude, even her mannerisms and
that kid was good.
Fucking change, and you're like,
was real good,
dude. I hope that kid gets work. Like, holy shit, this just proves though the casting in this. I don't think we have one bad actor.
Now, to be fair, what we keep doing prequels of stuff that sets up other stuff, right? All the time. Like that's that. Star Wars is notorious for prequels. You could totally do a Luthen and Clea show with that child actor, and you might have to de-age him a bit, but you can make it happen.
Oh yeah, that makes so many.
Just give me a couple seasons, because, like, I mean, after watching season 2 of Andor, I'm very disappointed that it's like, oh, you definitely didn't leave yourself any room to make anything else in between.
No, they did not. They were only doing year time jumps, but there's still a lot that can happen within those years.
No, I'm right. I mean, you could go back and you could tell some in-between stories for fun, essentially. But what I'm saying is, from the last episode until Rogue One, there is no time in between. The same way that Rogue One and Episode 4, there is no time in between.
No, that's literally
like 5-10 minutes.
So yeah, we get those scenes, and this was another scene that broke me. There's not a big speech or nothing, and I think it's so fucking perfect, because every show you always have this big, I'm always gonna miss you, blah blah blah, but it's just really slow, her unhooking everything and taking the tube out and looking at him. I was like, oh my god, it fucking broke me.
And I was like, I'm watching her essentially break into the hospital.
I thought she was going to save him.
That's what I thought. I was like, how are you going to wheel him? Like, how are you going to wheel him out of here?
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, what? Because first it was just her, and I thought, oh, she like did her thing, and she's going to have a ride so that they can transport him out. You know, maybe they gut out the windows and they just fucking roll him out or some shit. And then it starts to set in on me. I'm like, wait, she's by herself. Why is she how is she going to do this all by herself?
Right.
And then she gets in the room, and I go,
I even made it to the point where I was like, oh, before she picks up that alien that she's pushing on the cart, I was like, well, maybe this is just the scouting trip for how they're going to get him out. Like, I even had that thought, because I definitely wasn't thinking she's going to murder him. I definitely wasn't thinking that.
And I think this is where flashbacks work perfect, because those flashbacks make it so goddamn painful. And then to end the episode, they fucking just pull out and show Lutheran dying and the things going and everything else.
Dude,
that's your last shot.
I swear to God, that was the longest fade to black I've ever seen in my entire life.
I was emotionally crushed. I'm like, just fucking fade to black. Like, my tears are like, my eyes are.
Right, I need the next episode to start already so I can forget this pain.
So, PB, do you think Lutheran went out pretty well? What did you think of the episode? Because
I thought that he went out exactly the way that he intended to.
Yeah, they didn't torture him.
Well, I don't think he ever intended on escaping or trying to escape his fate.
I think, and
he's like, I know that they're going to catch me. I'm just hoping that I get some information that is helpful enough.
And the final thing, the final piece, and that's why I'm saying, fuck you, Luke and Leia. Hashtag justice for Lutheran. Without these motherfuckers, they would have never, he was the one who
and then
stayed.
The assholes around the table don't want to be trusting his information.
Yep. And so we get to the next episode.
Which I totally understand the apprehension, because, I mean, you go back to season 1 and he's like, well, we're going to send these troops out there and they're all going to get slaughtered. But that's going to work for us. I was like, wait, what? He's like, well, yeah, you got to, we lose and we lose and we lose and we lose because we play to win. And I was like, I don't understand how this works at all. Like, I still don't understand what they mean by, well, we got to lose and lose and lose and lose, and then we'll win. And it's like, wait a second. You just showed me you chilling on Naboo, and you're like, boom, bitches. That looked like a win to me.
I think it's more of a metaphor of the smaller wins. Like, that was a win. but they're going to take a bigger loss. Like, you know, you lose a couple of troops, but then you do this operation over here. Like with this, right? We lost the whole cast. But what did they get? They got the most important information in Star Wars history. So
that's true.
So, like, to me, it made sense. It's like, I get it. It sounds stupid at first, but then when you think of it in context of the show, it makes complete sense. Like, they did lose and lose and lose. They, like, when you see this whole show and all the cast and you see all these people die, and it's just like, you're so fucking happy for that one information.
I'm gonna have to. Who's the dude that does the Star Wars reaction as Kenobi and Qui-Gon Jinn and Anakin? Who is that? Why can't I think of his name now?
Oh, fuck, neither can I.
I feel like he watched this, and I need to see that video.
I gotta see that video too. So we get to the second episode, and now things are they keep us at a high tension.
Dude,
and
like, you would think, I know that it's only 3 episodes, and they're not like hour and a half long episodes.
But they feel that way.
They're all like 40 minutes or something once you get rid of the credits and the previously on.
And yet, it felt so paced in such a way where it was like long, but not like, oh, this is too long. More like, oh my God, like they're just keeping you in tension.
Right. And like the building of the tension, unbelievable.
So, you know, she's fucking burned. And now they're tracking her. We got a couple of big moments in this one. Some of the fucking greatest moments, actually. But they're doing.
Oh, like seeing Deidre in prison. That was great.
Oh yeah, so Deidre gives the last clue to that. I'll call it him.
Young's best friend, right?
Yep. I call him the gay.
We were never friends. It's like, fuck, man. Yes, you were.
Yes, you were. Don't lie.
No,
you're probably more than friends. But anyways, that's in my head.
Dude had a wife and kids, or at least a kid.
Well, you know,
everyone needs a beard.
I'm just saying. Anyway, so it gets super, like, you think it can't get any more intense. Well, now she's got to get out, and Deidre, we get the final scene with her, and this felt like she got the worst fate, even though she didn't. I was like, I felt like, because it almost felt like, for me, her dying would have been easier than how she wound up, because she's in the prison Andy Serkis was in. That's where they were.
Is that one?
I didn't catch it. Watch it again. Look at the uniform. It's the fucking prison.
All of their rooms look the same too. So
it's the same. It's the same prison because it had the red lights when they turned it off. That's that fucking prison on the island. So they put her on that fucking island.
Wait a second. The dead giveaway to know if you're in the prison is if she does or doesn't have shoes on, right?
Yes.
Isn't that the deal? Everyone's got to be barefoot so you can be electrocuted?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, yeah, and she didn't have shoes on either.
I don't remember. I didn't look
I gotta rewatch it, see, but I'm pretty sure she didn't have shoes on.
I was too overcome with the emotional weight of how she literally dedicated her entire life to safety and security, and then finally has the realization that she was exclusively used, and all of the things that she cared about don't give a fuck about her.
Yeah, and she lost probably the only person she's ever loved.
I don't know if she loved him, Guy. I'm
still gonna say she did, because hashtag justice for Cyril.
Well, I agree with justice for Cyril, but
I would like to think that she loved him so that this man has one win in his life.
I think she's duplicitous to the extent that she will and did do anything in order to find access.
I think she did too, but I do think that there was some kind of connection there. I think that even though she knew she was using him or whatever else, I think she did feel some kind of way, because that one scene where she has that breakdown, that's definitely for him. because she knows he didn't make it.
We're gonna go back to Coruscant and we're gonna be together.
And
I was like, dude, total Padme vibes on that one.
like,
just gonna go live in the country.
I don't know. That's what I was thinking. I was like, you are drinking the Kool-Aid hard because this is going nowhere good. And then she gets the worst fucking tongue lashing probably in Star Wars history. I would put that with Grand Moff
fucking Krennic.
Dude, Krennic and him now, they're pretty much on the same level of how scary they can be. Like, he's their bitch in Rogue One, but I just think about that scene like, yo, he's the only one who did like tell Grand Moff fucking fuck you.
In Rogue One, I get the I don't know exactly how to put it, but he gives off like the ants in the pants types feeling. Because in Rogue One, it's like he's constantly pressing to test the Death Star. He's like, yes, we got to test. We're like, hurry the fuck up, people. Let's fucking go. And I don't know. I get more of a maniacal feeling from the show. And I'd have to go back and watch all of his scenes. But it does seem like they have it filmed, or the camera work, the angles are set up in the sense that Krennic is always above, like looking down, like that's why she's sitting in the chair.
Yep. Yeah, that's a great observation because I didn't even pick up on that. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. But
because like Ben Mendelsohn isn't like he's not a small guy, but he's not like The Rock.
No, he's not gonna overloom you. But the shots, and once again, we came back to it. PB fucking camera work in this show really does make the show. Like the way they choose to linger on certain things, or the way the certain facial expressions, and they'll just hold it there and make you feel fucking uncomfortable. Like, perfect. So this bitch has got to get out, and she sends her little tap message, old school. Nobody's fucking listening, and probably one of my favorite moments of levity because it's so fucking intense. Queso's actually active and playing cards. Best fucking, I would say, good. Best fucking lighthearted moment in Star Wars. Fuck you. What are those things in The Force Awakens? The little fucking treble things or whatever. I hate those.
Talking about the porgs?
Yeah, fuck you, porgs. This was more adorable than that. A fucking robot playing cards. That was fucking, and they were fucking with him so bad. And I like
you would never make a bet like that.
I like how, like, Alan Tudyk.
We played 683 games. That's a good sample size.
I like how he sounds so human yet robotic. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how to explain. Like, he sounds like a person you'd chill with, but yet he still keeps the robotic stuff to where you're reminded, oh yeah, there's a fucking robot. But he also feels like a buddy you could play cards with. And it so sets up why in Rogue One they are that kind of misfit team they are. Like, dude, he's such a perfect like fit for Andor. Especially because Andor is becoming more depressed and kind of a dick. So it's so...
I was slightly, just the smallest slight you could ever see, disappointed when they go to rescue Clea and they get in there, and then K2SO is watching all of the frickin' troops land, and he's like, oh no, that's not good. And I was like, no, it's not at all. And then, I don't know, once again, one of the best scenes, I think, in Star Wars ever, his march just murdering people. And the very first guy, I almost tipped over in the chair. He's like, are you with us? No. Dead. Fucking dead.
Dude, but can we agree that the first guy got it better than the rest of them?
Oh, I think so. I think there was less terror involved.
The first guy, I would say, I would want to be, out of everybody, I would want to be the first guy, because the shit he does to the rest of the guys, oh my god, it's so fucking,
I thought for a moment there, I thought we were going to get some gruesome stuff with some, like, actual splatter, but there was no spider. It didn't take it that far, but it
No.
was still freaking. Oh, I love that scene. Now, the part of the scene I was disappointed with is when it got to the end. I thought for sure. I thought, oh, like you just watched Rogue One. I thought for sure he was going to say, "Congratulations, you're being rescued."
Yeah, I was. Oh, you know what? I'll give you that because I just rewatched Rogue One.
I know. I
And
just
now,
said that.
yeah, that now I'm kind of disappointed with that too, because that would have been
Right,
a
that would have been
perfect like,
good.
tie into the
I
movie.
mean, and like the K2SO, I love the bluntness where he just stands there. I've cleared a path. That's
It's
it.
like you fucking.
It's like they just seen this big fucking dude just whoosh, fly against the wall. And then he still can't even give him a good job. He's like, well, I hope that my value is quite apparent now. And he goes, get us out of here. I was like, man, you have been through a lot of shit as a character when you're like, I don't even have time for the emotions anymore. He doesn't.
And
then last 3 episodes, you don't see any shots of Cassian in the same way in the last 3 episodes as you did the 9 before that, except for the final shot when he's just like walking to the whatever he flies. I can't remember what it is.
yeah, the Y wing thing. But yeah, so they save her. Very tense moment. This is the part that pissed me off in this episode.
Oh, here we go.
And I don't mean it in a bad way.
Pissed you off in a good way. Oh, okay. Like that
good
makes sense.
pissed me off. So Cassie comes in, just fucking saves her. Obviously, she's important, right? Because they sent fucking everybody after them after they realized where that building was, and he's already gone. But you saw all those fucking things. So she's clearly important. And you have these motherfuckers, that stupid fucking bitch at the table who kept pissing me off when he's like bringing this evidence because he kind of did do the Cassian thing, stole a ship, went against orders, fucking flew there to save her. It's Andor. Do they not expect this? It's been a year time jump. You know, this is shit he does. But anyways, so then that one bitch looks at him and goes, well, I don't see how it's important. And they start shitting on Lutheran. And I was getting mad too. I was waiting for Andor to say, because I was getting so pissed.
No, I thought that was good when he goes, do any of you even know him?
Besides you, Mama, because he did that fix really quick. He said, besides you, Senator Mothmar, do any of you know?
No, that was good.
And I was getting so mad because, like, it reminded me of the fact that Andor will be in the same position later that Lutheran was in, where people won't remember how important he was to getting the fucking plans to Leia. Fuck you, Leia and Luke. Now I'm doing what LB did for Yoda. Fuck Luke and Leia, because especially fuck you, Leia. Where the fuck were you when our team was you could have fucking saved them by showing, but no, you just fucking left. Like, I know Vader was coming, I get it, but fuck you still, okay? Because you left all those people to die. And Alderaa's a big deal, dude. The people who brought you the information felt that laser before Alderaan did. And the planet didn't even explode. Just the section was gone.
Well,
not the
that's
planet.
because it wasn't a full power shot guy. I remember that.
Yeah, I know. And for me, that's still more horrible because it's just like, they specifically were shot. Like, they specifically fucking died. But anyway, maybe we'll do another review on Rogue One now that we've seen this. But so yeah, they're shitting all over Lutheran. And I like that.
Because Nick Cage is awesome.
Yeah. You know?
That is why, bitchy.
You're really messing me up, you know? I was 100% sex. Now I'm only 50%. Nick Cage makes anything better. But no, I gotta show you the Nick Cage Spider-Man Noir coming out live action on Amazon. Comes out this year.
I thought he wasn't acting anymore.
You know what? I'm hoping Nick Cage never stops acting.
He's like the frickin' McRib now.
You see, you'll see him every year. But no. So he gets into an argument with the people, and they're like, "Look, you can't do this." Blah blah blah. They can find him to quarters, but he's like, "Fuck this. We got to get this information out." And then we get into the end game, and so let me just get before we talk about the final, because I think it's brilliant. But did you find it odd that they did what Game of Thrones tried to do with their wrap up, but I feel like they did it a fuck of a lot better because there's no action in the final episode. It's all just talking and wrapping things up because it's after they finally get her to back to the thing, and the rest of it is talking and kind of wrapping these threads up. And
I definitely like on the Imperial side. I see how it works.
Yeah, and
these people who are relatively high up are still killing themselves.
That scene
being sent to prison. It's like, if you fail, I'm going to arrest you because I'm higher in the chain of command. I was like, that's fucking wild.
Yeah, so even if you're high up, you're never ever safe in that kind of a system because there's someone always above you.
I mean, let's put it this way: nobody is safe. The only people who are technically safe is the Emperor and Vader.
Yeah, because they're the ones who set this whole thing up. But that's
the Emperor ain't gonna do anything to screw Vader over.
Yeah, just like Vader can't until later.
I mean, and then when you watch stuff like Rebels, like Vader does a lot of things the Emperor doesn't necessarily know about.
Oh yeah, he's always making moves. I mean, he's still like off to the side thinking. At first, he's like, "How could I overthrow him?" But then he's like, "Okay, we got to get rid of him." But like, it's so crazy to see that this system they set up was inevitably going to fail because of the way it's structured, with all of these people constantly clawing for the top, which they'll never get to the highest heights. They're always going to be stuck somewhere.
And like, what do you do when you dedicated your life to 10 years of building this weapon and then the weapon blows up? Yeah,
that's true. And
like,
here's another crazy part.
If Krennic was around, like, did you just retire? You're like, that went pretty well. I'm good.
Yeah, like I'm done. I did my fucking.
We shot it at a planet. We kill a bunch of good guys, technically bad guys from the way we look at stuff. It's all about perspective.
And the thing I love too is the Rebels. I think this gives a great sort of, and I like that they don't, unlike other Disney properties that are attacking these legacy things, like trying very hard to make the Jedi look shitty instead of doing it organically. This works really well with this show because it does say, like, we look at the Rebels in those first movies like, man, once again, Luke and Leia, right? Luke's a little plucky farm boy. He lost his family. Like, we could get behind that. And we're like, yeah, fuck that Death Star up. And then you find out, oh, man, his father's fucked up. Now you're really behind him. But you never think about the evil shit that the Rebels actually had to do because it's a war. And, of course, they had to do their... Like, that scene with Lutheran in the flashback was so chilling to me because they really are terrorists when you think about it. They're doing terrorist shit.
Oh, for sure.
It's like the lines aren't very clear as the original trilogies. Like, you look at original Star Wars, ask anybody, even people who don't fucking know Star Wars, they go, Luke and Leia, Han, Chewie, they're the good guys. And Emperor Palpatine, Darth Vader, bad guy. But you watch this show and you go, are they really good guys? I mean, are they really that? Because they
do a lot of dastardly things.
Like Saul Guerrera. Like, then you start to go through all these other characters.
I love how that was pretty fucking hilarious. They're like, we know you're on Jeddah, so he's like, no, I'm not. I'm not there. There's no way I'd be on Jeddah. Like, come on now. Like, you don't think that I know how to play your people? You think I'm on Jeddah? That's ridiculous.
And
then
then
he looked
Rogue
out
One.
the window, and I was like, looks like you're on fucking Jeddah, mate.
And then I love it, like Rogue One. It just said subtitle Jenna, and I was like, "Come on, son.
Yep.
Come on, you're supposed to be a
Which,
spy
I mean,
for
once again, clap to the camera work of the shot of him standing there looking out at the freaking Star Destroyer that we see in the movie.
Yep, fucking perfect. So we got that wrap up. We also have
I don't know if I count that as a wrap up. I feel like half of this episode is wrap up, and the other half of the episode is primer for the movie.
Okay, so fair enough. We wrapped up Deidre and those. Now the primer for the movie, all of the tie-ins. This was excellent.
Can we talk about the worst part first?
Okay, so you want to start with let's just rip off the Band-Aid. I was trying to talk around this one. I didn't even know. Good.
Dude, they left him. They left him. They left B, and nobody is ever going back for him. All of the people that he loved abandoned him.
But he had the little yellow robot next to him. He made a friend.
Okay, and like that makes me feel nice that you have a friend. But it's like, okay.
And Bix was there.
I mean, I guess Bix was there, but I don't think he has the attachment to Bix that he had to, obviously, Marva. Like, that was the big one. That was sad in season 1. Yeah. And it's like, okay, well, he's been with, as far as I can tell, he's been with Cassian the entire time he's been AI conscious. Like, that's like leaving your dog behind, man.
I mean, but I'm kind of glad he left him behind because we know what's going to happen to him. Yeah, I don't know if I would have wanted
to him, but you're telling. I just don't like the. He's obviously a character that everybody who watches the show likes. Even if you don't like the show, you still like B. You can think the show is shit, and you're still gonna like B. And he's constantly pawned off onto the next person. Like, I don't even know. Technically, he's not with Bix. She just happens to be there. He's with some other fucking lady that he got left with when the other guy, the big guy, got killed in, what, episode 3?
Yeah, 3.
That was the beginning of the season. For a moment there, I was like, oh, he's never going to see Cassian again. And then he got to see Cassian for a moment, and then Cassian was gone. He's like, you don't have to go.
Okay, yeah, B should definitely get an award. Some strong acting from that robot.
I mean, oh man, I feel like he's my favorite droid now.
I mean, I would still say Queso's mine, but I can understand.
I don't get the emotion from K2SO. Like, K2SO's exclusively comic relief and whooping ass.
But I also feel like he's an asshole, and that falls into your character that, like, yeah. So that's why I got more of an attachment to him, and it makes it all more sad.
I'm more the cute droid kind of guy, because like my favorite for years now is Chopper before Andor.
Oh yeah, Chopper
is way more hilarious than R2.
Yeah, I could get behind you on that, and way more sarcastic. I'm definitely a big Chopper fan too. And you knew he was talking shit about you. Like, as the droid would stop and look at you, it was almost like he was talking shit, even if you didn't know what the fuck he was saying. Like, I love that. Yeah.
I mean, I guess B has an advantage because he actually speaks.
Yeah, where Chopper,
it's not like trying to talk to a Pokemon.
but yeah, so ripping the Band-Aid off.
That's the only part of the entire season that I don't like. And I see what they did in the final episode. They're like, oh, you had to show that he's having a good time. And it's like, oh yeah, he's having like, people who miss other people still have a good time now and again. But holy shit, that doesn't cover all of their living conscious life.
But I think that that's a great mirror, and I'd like to think the writers are this clever because of how smart they are. Maybe it's just showing what they've been saying the whole show, that these all of these people are affected. They'll never know and will never get relief, just like the droid. Even though the droid isn't technically human, it's lost just as much as any of the other characters in the show. So I think actually it's quite clever
I
because
don't think
because you
anybody in
never
the
put
show.
droids in that.
I mean, if we're talking about people that have just like disappeared, I mean, he lost Marva, and then what? The other guy's name was Ben, wasn't it?
Yeah,
The guy with
another
the
fucking
beard.
Ben. Dude, if your name is Ben,
So they
you're just
both
fucking
died, and then Cassian just
you're
keeps
done.
on pawning him off to the next person.
So yeah, I do agree. I feel like that droid list, but let's talk about the other Stinger rip off the band-aid. That scene made me fucking cry. After you get past, I know you were already in the uproar on that, but then seeing her and knowing that
Oh
you're
my
literally
god!
going into, oh, I had fucking tears. I was like, and then you see the
Okay, well
baby, and
that
I don't know if I was happier or it fucked me up
no man,
more.
that's fucked up because like the whole reason, like she she left this emotional fucking video for him when in reality she left because she was pregnant
And
and
she
didn't want
knew,
to tell him
and this
because
one I
she
understand.
knew that if she told him,
Yep,
he would leave the
it's a
rebellion,
rebellion,
and the rebellion needs Cassian. Why? Because he's the fucking linchpin of the whole goddamn thing.
and that makes it. I think this is perfect to do one of those things because a lot of times when they do this, it's a manipulation to like make you like the woman more. But in this case, it just makes the whole situation tragic because Bix was a good character before they did this, but it makes her character even more fucking depressing because she got fucked over and then like she actually did wind up sacrificing just as much as anybody else. And I hate that trope where it's like, oh, they have a kid, so they sacrifice so much. But she really did. She gave up her love, the one fucking true love she has ever had, ever, with his child that she'll now have to raise. And I think she knows or knew he was not going to come back. She was just telling him, oh, yeah, we'll find you. Or maybe trying to tell herself he'll find him. But she knows that he is not going to come back, that his end is going to be somewhere doing something, that he was always going to die. And she fucking has to hold that. And so that makes even her character like, that's such a big fucking like I felt like every one of these characters they didn't do anything out of the character, but they all gave or contributed in some way. And like I don't know about you, I don't know how to exactly put it, but it felt like every character had a meaning or a purpose to this story, and by the ending, the endings they gave them felt right. Like nothing felt like forced or just because we got to get them to this plot. It
I
felt
don't
like
feel I don't feel left hanging.
that's what I'm saying. It feels like every single character met their particular purpose. Everybody had meaning, even for hashtag justice for Cheryl. Even he, like even the characters who thought that they didn't have meaning, like everybody in some small way plays a part that leads us into this bigger story and essentially into Star Wars itself. Like these are all the linchpins that hold
Okay, all I know
literally the
is
whole fucking trilogy together.
stuff that more directly connects with the original trilogy is better.
Oh yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. And like, uh,
I mean,
shout out to Tony
that
Gelroy.
correlation isn't necessarily causation, but holy shit, when they make as many Star Wars shows as they do, Ahsoka, Mandalorian, Boba Fett, Kenobi. What am I forgetting?
The worst one, the Acolyte.
Acolyte. What else is there?
There's the spinoffs. There was the Clone Wars, but then there's the Tales of the Underworld, Tales of the
You got
Empire,
Bad Batch.
the Bad Batch. Yeah,
Nothing's better than this season. None of them.
I 100% agree. And I'm gonna go a step further. I would say right now, this series is my number one for this year, and I don't foresee
It's
like
my
the
number one
Penguin.
so far too.
Like I don't see like.
I mean, that was
I did with
a
Penguin.
phenomenal comparison when you come on and you're like, Penguin level? Yes.
Yes, this was Penguin level writing. Like if somebody told me, like if we were to have a debate and someone would go, "Let's debate what's the greatest Penguin or Andor," I'd be like, "Oh, this is gonna be a fucking tough debate," because it would be.
I
Because
don't know what side I'm on yet.
I you know how I feel about that show, and I gotta be honest with you. I don't know what side I fall on either because they both do start off slow, but
Once,
the fucking
maybe
payoff.
it's because in both shows, the good guys are the bad guys and the bad guys are the good guys all at the same time.
Yeah, nothing's clear.
Because when you start Penguin, you're like, oh yeah, like he's a gangster, definitely a bad guy, and then you're like, well, fuck, maybe he's not.
Yeah, maybe.
And then you get to the next episode, and you're like, oh yeah, he's a gangster, like fucking bad guy. And then another episode, you're like, I'm not so sure. Like he just loves his mom. Like, what's wrong with loving your mom? Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I don't understand. And then you get to the end, and you're like, there ain't no redemption from that one there, Penguin.
You're like, Oz, you're going down.
He is dead.
You're like, I hope Batman beats the living shit out of you.
The living fucking shit out of you. I mean, he better be in the fucking next movie.
And I want to say that Andor made me feel that way. So we ripped the Band-Aid off earlier, but I did want to talk about some good things. The fucking look. I watched the movie Rogue One. I swear to Christ. Makeup department needs a fucking Emmy because it looks like the first scene. The jacket, the hairstyle, it looks like we're going.
I was thinking about that right before I turned the computer on tonight. I was like, "Fuck, man, I need to get me one of those jackets."
Dude, the way that they did that
I don't necessarily
transition,
need the blaster.
And I love the blaster too. I gotta say, I like that it's so different looking from other blasters we've seen throughout, and we've seen a lot of blasters.
I like the distinctness.
Yeah, it's definitely, and I love how you could also turn it into like a sniper rifle. That was fucking awesome. I wanted to highlight that, and I wanted to highlight them mentioning the mission for Rogue One, and you'll get this feeling now when you watch the movies. But it's not a spoiler because we both seen it. But the fact that now him shooting that guy makes so much sense, and now it's kind of a callback for me with Lutheran shooting the guy on the bench. I'm always going to be thinking like, oh, this motherfucker's become like Lutheran now. Like he's been in it, and he's like, because when you're seeing the show, he's still apprehensive. He'll do fucked up shit, but it's like now when you get to Rogue One, he's like, no, I have lived through this. He's like,
make it happen.
Yeah, he's so much like Lutheran in Rogue One.
For the love of God, guy. His name is Luthen.
Luthen, yeah. I had to fuck up someone's name. It's not.
You've been fucking his whatever.
Luthen. So he is so much like Luthen in Rogue One, and it so makes his character better because I was confused in the movies about his character, and I was even more confused whether I liked him or not. And then remember when they announced this, I don't know about a fucking Andor show. We both said that, like, fucking Andor.
Oh yeah, all of it. Like you watch Rogue One, and you're like, I like Rogue One, the story of it.
Yep.
Like the Darth Vader moments are badass. The hallway scene at the end is fucking like potentially the best fucking scene in all of fucking Star Wars.
Second that.
So, like, it's definitely got its high moments, but, like, do I necessarily care about any of the main characters from only seeing the movie? I mean, I guess for about 2 hours I fucking cared, and then they all die, and you're like, I see what's going on here. And then boom, Leia. Like everything just happens real fast at the end. You're
Yep.
like, oh, I guess they're all gone now. And now it's completely different.
Because now you're sitting there knowing
No, I
what
give
the
a
end of
fuck
the
because I remember saying when we talked about Rogue One. I mean, I'm sure it's on the fucking channel somewhere here.
yeah,
Where I
it's
was
over
like,
here.
I don't give a fuck about Cassian. Nobody cares about Cassian. He's just a pilot.
And now we're gonna watch it going, fuck man.
Right?
Bix.
This
You're
guy
like,
been through some shit.
we're like,
I
no,
mean,
no, no.
imagine for a moment. Imagine for a moment that you have never seen Rogue One. Never seen it. And you just randomly, because somebody that you knew was like, oh, you should check out this TV show. Like, it's a little sci-fi, but it's pretty down to earth in reality. Like, the show is about politics and terrorism. Like, that's what it comes down to, essentially, for the entirety of the show. But imagine you never seen Rogue One, and then you watch this show, and then somebody tells you, they're like, oh, there's a movie that wraps up the story of these characters, or at least of Cassian. You're like, wait a second, what? There's a movie, and they already made it? You'd be like, fuck, man, I'm watching that movie. How fucking pissed are you going to be at the end of that fucking movie? You're like, I just invested 2 seasons into this character, and then you're just like, dead. I feel like you're muted, guy.
Oh, am I?
Oh, you were not.
Okay.
I wasn't getting any of the feedback,
No, yeah, it's like when I rewatched Rogue One, I already really love that movie, but now it might be my favorite of all of the Disney stuff. And I might even put it above the prequel trilogy into the because one, it is part of the main storyline, like, but I
Right.
would put it into like almost being there with the top ones. I would put, and Revenge of the Sith is my favorite. If you guys have been on this channel, you've heard me talk about it thousands of times. I love Revenge of the Sith, best of the prequels. But like, I would say this movie would be above all of the prequels too, just because of how seamless. And now we have this show, which just makes that movie better.
I definitely need to rewatch the movie.
Yeah, I think maybe we should do something fun. On Friday, we could do a watch along. Maybe we should watch Rogue One together now that we have
I'm going to be
context.
driving on Friday. I will not have time to do a stream.
All right, maybe we'll try
Definitely not a watch along, because technically I could do a stream Justin Proper style driving down the road, but I definitely could not watch a movie driving down the road.
I don't know. With some of the drivers we see, you might be able to.
If I had the assist stuff, if I had me a Tesla, and I'd be like, take me to this location, motherfucker.
I'm gonna watch Rogue One.
Right?
Comment on it.
All
right, maybe
phone right on the steering wheel. Don't turn unless I tell you to.
Maybe we could do it Sunday. We'll see.
It's possible.
But yeah, rewatching Rogue One, myself, and then I went right into A New Hope after that, and I was like, this now makes Rogue one of my favorite Star Wars movies, like in the top with the originals, because of now this show, as a prequel should, made the movie stronger, which was already it was one of the best Disney movies. But now this show enhances that experience where, like, now everything you watch and every line you hear Cassian say, it all makes sense and makes his character better, which makes it harder when you get to that ending, because now it's not, I don't got that feeling like, oh, well, I only spent 2 hours with them, so let's get to like later.
I agree with you that this makes stuff better, and that's what puts it at the top of at least all of the Star Wars TV shows, because other Star Wars TV shows like Kenobi make the movies worse,
And
because
they
they
put
they ruined the line in A New Hope when they're talking to each other, and he's like, "Oh, since our last duel," and you're like, "Yeah, I seen their last duel. It was fucking wild over a volcano. Like, what the fuck was going on there, man?" And now it's like some lame duel where he like pulls him into a fire and burns him.
yeah.
How does that feel, you son of a bitch? And I was like, what the fuck?
Well, no, wasn't their last duel the one where there was he smashed them into a bunch of mountains and created like that crater thing in the last episode?
I don't even fucking remember, guy.
It
But
was
you're
so
right.
bad. It was
they had two confrontations during the
yeah.
season.
But it still breaks that line where you're like,
right. It ruins the fact that you're sitting there watching episode 3 and you're watching this epic duel, and then you watch episode 4 and you believe that they're referencing this epic freaking duel. You're like, yeah, it's been 20 years. Now I'm the master. And you're like, oh, that's a good line, guy. And I feel like Kenobi cheapened it.
but now we swing it back to Andor. There's a line in Rogue One where he's running through the they're on the Shaddai, or the planet Saul said he wasn't on. Very terrible. They're on that planet, and he looks around and is like, "We gotta find Saul quick." And she's like, "Why?" He goes, "There's gonna be a riot." She's like, "How do you know?" He goes, "Because this place is a powder keg. I've seen it before." And I was like, and you're like, "Yeah, he did in episode 8, the best episode."
You're like, and so did I.
Yeah. And it's like, and then it kind of also makes Jen Erso a better character because of this last episode where they mention her in this and her father, and you're like, oh, so she is kind of important. And then you go back to her backstory, and it makes that all so much better, because when you first watch it, it's kind of like, this bitch is kind of insufferable. I really don't like her, whatever, blah blah blah.
She's a little
uppity. But then, like, you add in what Andor's been through and their little arc that they have just before they get to the final mission.
And then you recall that rebellions are built on hope.
Yes.
And I run the computer at the hotel. Don't worry, I didn't check you in.
And then you hear that line in Rogue One. And I was like, it's just like, yeah. It's just like, you're like, oh my God, so does that mean she heard that? Maybe that guy's still alive? Like,
that's a good question.
Like, yeah, so it's like, it adds so much more where you're just like, and I think that, like you said, the original draw was just seeing that Vader scene. That's all everyone talks about, is the hallway scene. But now it kind of takes that away from me, and now I kind of feel like a dick where I'm like, yeah, the hallway scene's great, love it, but fucking Andor, the way he died, man, it's like that sunset and they're holding hands, and then you see the fucking blast coming, and you're like, this is how he's not gonna see Bix or his kid, like, and he's with a totally different person.
You guy. He's not gonna see B again.
Or B. Hashtag justice for B.
Thank you.
He's not gonna see B. No, yeah, I mean, and it makes that scene sadder to me, because the smart thing they didn't do is they never implied anything like as far as a relationship towards him and Jen Erso. But now, when you see in the show where he was comforting people who were dying, and then you see at this point where he knows it's the end, and she comforts him and holds his hand, and you're like, it's when I saw it again, I was like, holy fucking shit, this is emotionally devastating me, because that was predicted in that one episode with the Force Healer, where she's like, you carry the fate of the world and blah blah blah, and you're like, oh my God, it's like,
and blah blah blah.
Yeah, it was like, of course people be saying that wild shit, but I was like, it just makes everything better. So, like, yeah, let's start to wrap this up and let's get to
Thank God.
series. I could have, but I feel like we could have talked about this all night. Let's what would you rate this as
9.5.
Well, shit.
No, I'm not here to fuck around, guy. This show is spectacular.
I'm gonna go higher, and I'm gonna put this where I put Penguin 10. This to me, like besides little gripes we nitpicked, and you can hear through the stream here and there,
Right.
this is perfect.
So, and there's just so many nitpicks compared to when we're like, oh my God, this was awesome.
But I'd still put this 10 because this to me is not just perfect television, but perfect Star Wars. And that gets the extra 0.5 because this, I almost kind of get nervous because I feel like we might never see anything as good as this again. And they did it not once, but twice.
Are they making a movie yet?
I would fucking watch, like, if they made a movie.
No, I'm saying, are they making any Star Wars movies at this current time? Like, are they
from what I hear,
on
no.
episode 10?
No movies. They're just doing shows.
Yeah, I've seen that. What, they came out with Mandalorian and Grogu or something like that?
Oh, yeah. They said that's supposed to be a movie, but I don't think it's going to be in theaters. I heard they were.
There's also one other one that was live action, and I can't remember what it was. I just freaking read it like 2 days ago.
That's a show. I know what you're talking about. I forgot what it was supposed to be, but it's supposed to be like a Star Wars story because Andor. And one more thing I want to talk about before, but yeah, I give it a 10. You give it a 9. I want to say, I feel like we should address the people who think this show is terrible. Have you seen some of those videos? Because I watch them for about 5 seconds and I get so pissed off I turn them off. There's some people who say that Diego Luna's acting is terrible in this.
Wow.
They said this is boring, and I'm actually for once not talking about the Geeks and Gamers crowd. They actually, quite a few of them, thought this was a good show. Surprisingly,
I didn't think they watched Star Wars anymore.
That's what I thought. I didn't even think I'd fucking watch the show, but apparently they did. They said
I only quit for a moment.
But
I quit after episode 8. I still ain't never seen Solo. I watched the first 5 minutes. They take Han Solo. They make him crash. And I was like, not my Han Solo.
Like, I think, actually, no, sadly, I watched that. I've seen every fucking piece of Star Wars media. Like, I've never said I would stop watching it. I just don't expect much from it. Is where
right. Like, you gotta change your expectations.
It's like with Marvel.
Preferably to no expectations. Like, you can expect the basic stuff. Like, if you're saying, oh, it's a Daredevil show, it's probably going to have Daredevil in it. Like, if Daredevil doesn't show up in the Daredevil show, I would be very upset.
Yeah, we're like kind of that way. We're probably lower with Star Wars, but this,
because of what they fucking have done to us.
Oh, man.
Especially when they're like, oh, we think this show is going to be spectacular. Oh, why do you think it's going to be spectacular? We got some gays in it. That's a selling point? That is a selling... That's not a selling point for anything I have ever fucking watched in my entire life. Where they're like, we know what you people like. You watched that first episode of Game of Thrones, and you were like, oh... incest, that's where it's at, and we already got the incest in Star Wars, so let's just expand it a little. Like, fuck you people.
Speaking of which, that brings me, and I don't want to spoil it or bury the lead, The Last of Us. Oh my god, what a fucking train wreck that's been. I can't wait to talk about it. I think I'm 3
episodes behind. I'm either 2 or 3 episodes behind on that one,
dude. The scene of 2 fucking teenage lesbians having sex. I don't know why I vomited in my mouth. Oh yeah, buddy. Just you wait. I can't. Oh, you haven't seen that. Oh, just you wait.
Is that in the game?
No, not a. Fuck you,
Yay.
Neil Druckmann. Neil Druckmann, you
Thanks,
sick
Neil.
fuck. And oh, just wait. Just you're gonna call me up and be like, I will never be the same.
I don't. Talk about something else. Star Wars.
So back to something that we won't have to wash our brain out. Star Wars. Great stuff. Check out Andor if you haven't seen it. I give it a 10. He gives it a 9.5.
Dude, I want to wipe my brain so I can watch this show again.
It's yeah.
In reality, I want to see how pissed off I would be if I could wipe my brain of Rogue One and then watch the movie and be like, no. No, the baby. No.
You know how many people are rewatching it going like that? Because I can guarantee you all of
it's amazing to me. Like we said at the beginning of the stream, every character in this show is a tragedy. Their story is a fucking tragedy. And even the ones that don't end in the show are still a fucking tragedy, man.
It's like what I took from the show is being in the rebellion fucking sucks, and being in the Empire is even worse.
Good morning, Christine.
Good morning, Christine.
I'm sorry that you got here in time for the end of the stream.
Yes, but definitely check out Andor season 2. We both like it. This is I'm just gonna say it. I really don't know.
I love it.
I love it, and I don't know if there's gonna be a show strong enough. Last of Us 2 isn't even fucking making my list this year.
I mean, Reacher was the one so far that's been close.
Yeah.
What the hell else has come out this year?
Invincible. That was up there for me too.
Invincible was really good, but I feel like I was underwhelmed with the lack of progress with Alan and Omni-Man.
Although I do have to say, though, the final did make up for that, especially Jeffrey Dean Morgan being...
The final was pretty spectacular.
So, yeah, but see, that's where I'm saying I don't think anything could be Andor, because unlike Invincible, I get to the end and I'm like, Now, Reacher is kind of up there with Andor, except for the fact that I still fucking like this more. Because
Daredevil is up there.
I would even say that Daredevil doesn't come close to this show for me. Like Reacher is closer.
Like,
it's going to be on my list.
Didn't you give Daredevil a 10?
I did.
Okay, well then it's got to come close.
So let me explain what I mean. Like,
no,
I mean, well, no, because it does tie into the Netflix show.
Okay, well let's put it this way.
You got me. There's a lot of strong contenders. God damn.
We can agree that Andor might be the best show that's going to come out all year. But we're still going to rewatch High School of the Dead.
Every year. Until they make season 3.
Sons of bitches.
Resurrect him! I think...
you don't need to have a story for this show. That is the whole point. Is that you don't need to just make some episodes. Somebody out there just make some fan episodes. I will watch those too.
You brought Bleach back. God damn it! You can bring the show back. We're just gonna start a campaign in Japan for this.
They did. Wasn't it already one of those 1,000 episode shows?
Yeah, they brought it back to finish
Holy
it.
Shit.
Yeah, the 1,000-year Blood War, which I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, well, if you want to finish Andor, you have to watch Rogue One. That's a fact.
So Rogue One, season 3 of Andor, basically.
Pretty much.
What you watch it?
I mean, I am glad. I know a lot of times we're like, when are we getting a movie with this character? Because we like movies a lot, but I am so very glad that this was a TV show instead of a movie, because in my mind, season 2 is 4 movies.
Oh my God, yes.
I mean, especially with the way that they released them, that you get 3, 3, 3, 3, and they all come out to about movie length.
And there was none of the normal Disney bullshit. These aren't 35 minutes. We actually have normal 40, 45 minutes.
And let's put it this way. We did not get an episode 3 blunder this time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I agree.
The old Andor fiver.
Yeah, that was... No, these were tight. They were tense throughout the whole...
so good.
So good. And the second half of this is how you do it. We loved it. 10 out of 10. Check out Andor season 2. Thank you very much, PB. You got anything going on? Anything you want to say before we end this stream?
I have a hard time believing that Darth Vader was ever a bad guy.
Ooh, nice to leave it on.
After you watch this show, you have no idea who the good guys are and the bad guys are.
So, there's now a compelling argument. Vader was never bad. He killed a bunch of kids, but who hasn't?
Right, exactly.
By the time we get to the end.
Like you're down in Waukesha. It's like, who hasn't taken their SUV on the sidewalk during a parade? Like, who hasn't done that before?
Yeah, I mean, does that make a bit? There's some shades of gray. They might be with the Rebel Alliance.
Like, I'm not gonna lie. Every time that anybody uses that particular phrase, it's like, fucking A, man. That is a What's up, Justin?
What's up, proper?
Anyway, what I was saying was Shades of Grey, one of the best Stargate episodes ever.
Oh, we still got to do those watch-alongs. God, we got to plan that for Sunday, but, schedules.
I know, guy. My schedule has not been conducive to streaming lately. Not to mention the fact that I've been super tired because I've been busting my ass, and it went from being spring to summer in a fucking day, so now it's fucking hot out, and I'm not ready for
it. I know you are not, my friend. But speaking of hot, I've got a hot fucking review coming out for Final Destination Bloodlines. Biggest fucking Final Destination fan. Can't wait to do the review. So coming up on my channel, I will be doing a review of every Final Destination movie. But I'm going to do Bloodlines first because everybody does the lead up. But I'm going to do the last movie and then work my way like the opposite. Because I was looking at reviewers, they're like, "Oh, I've watched."
Okay, are you doing it in release order or timeline order?
I'm thinking release order because the timeline for Final Destination is whenever we fucking need it to connect to something. So I don't want to put myself in that trap.
The timeline is looped.
Yeah, it's like good luck. So I'm gonna just work my way back in order of release so we can just
You will, Jay. I'll join you for FD for fire. What the fuck is he
for
saying?
Final Destination?
Oh,
you see, you got to be in
the.
I've
never heard anybody shorten Final Destination to FD.
That's
FD
because
is fire department.
Or Final Destination.
Are you really going to rewatch Final Destination 4?
Unfortunately. I keep on... Okay,
let's put it this way. I may not. It's quite possible. I may have skipped number 4, but then Krista Allen was in the movie, and I was like, sold?
And that did not...
And so was Vince from What I Like About You, because I can never remember his name. And he's also, who the fuck does he play in fucking Legends of Tomorrow?
Oh, fuck.
Steel?
I think that's it. Yes. Yes, I think you're right. I think it's Steel. And it's crazy to see the cast in those movies and what they've gone on to do, because 90% of them did the Final Destination movies before they did the other parts they got super famous for, except for a few actors. But like,
Right.
It's just crazy. We all agree 4 is the biggest piece of shit. Like, I don't think there's a Final Destination fan who likes, like, 4 is the only bad, like, objectively bad movie in the whole entire franchise. Because they're
Like,
normally consistently
I'm
pretty
not gonna
decent.
lie. 4 seemed like it was made to be on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Oh my god! Oh, it was like straight to video,
Like,
and they
it's like, do you want to watch that or do you want to watch Sharknado? Sharknado, it is.
Sharknado definitely like, and it's so sad because some of the scenes could have
So
been
he does
cool.
have time. This fucking guy, like, Justin, we're gonna invite you, but then we're gonna end the stream and then we're just gonna talk.
Well, I mean, I gotta go, and I'm quitting chilling, so I gotta go get my.
No, you're not.
I switched to these here, so I've officially.
I have no idea what you like. I'm looking at my phone because I'm trying to figure out what the fuck I gotta do to.
Oh, so it's not tobacco. What it is just the pouch with the flavor and the nicotine, and you go down in milligrams until you quit. So I'm down to 3.
Wow.
Yeah. You know, trying to keep the wife happy. Less cans, that makes her happy. Yeah, Zen is what they're called.
I'm
It's
working
just
on it, Justin. Check the group chat because I don't know where our conversation is. That's what you're gonna have to do.
but yeah, so check out the best Star Wars I think we're ever going to ever see. Check out Andor season 2. Check out my channel. I will be starting this Friday. I'm going to have my review up for Final Destination Borderlines, and then subsequently after that, maybe Saturday and Sunday, I'll do Final Destination 5. I'll pretend to watch 4. Do 3, 2, 1. I don't know if I can, dude. I don't know if I can put myself through that fucking movie again. I don't know if I can do it, even for the fan. I don't know. That's the one where I feel like you would have to come here and force me to watch it. Like, no, you're not fucking getting up. We'll both suffer through this together.
I sent it to you directly, Justin.
Because I don't have the fucking. I don't have the willpower to watch Final Destination 4 again. That's the worst.
What's up, motherfuckers?
So Andor season 2, best Star Wars we're ever gonna get.
Yeah, I heard that, and I keep hearing that, and I really don't know how I feel about that.
Watch seasons 1 and 2, and then watch Rogue One, and tell me that doesn't make that movie better. It is so. That's how great this show is. Like, literally, this whole show, by existing, makes Rogue One not only all the characters better, but so much tragic. And brace yourself, because we all know what happens in Rogue One, so don't. Obviously,
yeah. Spoiler alert: everyone dies, and that's the best thing that comes out of Disney Star Wars. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's the crazy part too, because it's the same thing in this show. Because you're gonna meet characters, you're gonna like them, but spoiler, you didn't see them.
Everyone dies. Everyone dies.
And we're all calling this the best show.
You're just setting yourself up for heartbreak if you're gonna watch this show.
Yeah, it's literally like. Okay, so I knew it was gonna be sad. I just didn't know I'd be crying for fucking 4 episodes, nonstop. And apparently,
dude, you're catching me at a really vulnerable time. So I just watched Linkin Park. Like, I saw them live for the first time, and I was like almost crying like a baby, like, because 10 years ago I just met Rob Schneider, and I was like, okay, this festival is gonna be totally fine. Like I can leave happy. But Linkin Park was playing at that festival when Chester was still alive, and now it has come full circle. And I think the lesson that I learned after that festival that I just went to this weekend, and is to give things a second chance, and that includes Rogue One.
Oh wow. So yeah, watch but first watch Andor and then go into Rogue One because I think you're gonna have such a great
Watch the
experience.
first season and then Rogue
Well,
One.
yeah, you gotta watch both seasons. Yeah, but
Watch both seasons. Watch the first and the second season, and
Is this
literally
the last season?
yeah,
yes. And
yeah,
it literally
they leave you no time between the end of the show and Rogue One.
it literally the last episode of this season literally is where
okay.
the movie for Rogue One.
I
Are
was gonna-
you guys gonna make me like
No,
Star Wars
that's-
again?
that's not true,
because
Zod.
I'm really on the fence about it.
It's not true that the movie picks up where the show leaves off exactly, because the movie picks up with Jin as a child. So technically, the movie starts in the timeline before the show ends. But
Oh, yeah.
where you see Cassian is like right after the show.
Right
First
at,
time
yeah.
you see him is right
Okay,
after
so
the show.
this was a 2-season run, and they planned for a 2-season sort of backstory
Yep.
for this character. One of the 2 or 3 characters that I actually remember the name of them. I remember Jin Urso, K2SO, and then Cassian Andor.
Oh, yeah.
So you'll like the show.
That's the 3 characters that I remember, and I did
and
not like the movie because like all these other characters are just bullshit. Like,
I will say it doesn't it's not going to fix like all of that because they would all need their own show to get the backstory.
Yeah.
But it does make everything, even those characters they pick up and certain scenes, when you get to you go,
when you
oh
get to,
shit.
when you rewatch Rogue One, like it makes sense.
Yeah, it
Like,
makes more sense.
It's more impactful. Like you feel more for these characters.
Oh yeah, because then when I get to what happens at the end of Rogue One, I'm like, instead of just being mesmerized by Vader, I'm like, yeah, the Vader scene's really cool, but fuck, this guy just doesn't fucking get a happy. He just can't fucking get a break. You'll know what I mean when you see the show. He just never gets a fucking break.
There's
And he
a lot
gives
of unsung
much.
heroes in Rogue One. I already knew that, but
Just trust me, it's worth the investment. But anyways, I'm gonna say bye really quick, guys. Just a proper. We will probably talk offline. We'll do a final destination because I'm starting with 5 and I'm gonna go backwards. So or 6. Yeah, Bloodlines is 6. So I'm going to see Bloodlines this Friday. I'm gonna do a review and then I'm gonna work my way down and then do one on 5, 4, 3, 2, and then with 1.
Yeah,
And then do a ranking.
we can do a tier list.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And we could have really cool names. But anyways, thank you everybody for watching. Check out our stream. Check out everybody. I love all these beautiful people. I have all of their stuff in the description if you want to check them out. And as always, remember, there is only one rule here in Rogue One, aka the Phantom Zone.
It's not not like
What is there's only one rule. What is it?
what is
Watch Andor.
Yeah, watch Andor.